Now, this question could come in any form. It could just come like this: explain the contributions of the Nigerian mass media in the development of Nigeria. Or you can say, explain the contributions of the Nigerian mass media in political development of Nigeria or in the struggle for independence. But the fact is that most times you find a question asking you to explain the contributions of the Nigerian mass media in the development of the country. The mass media in Nigeria made tremendous contributions in the development of the country. They played the basic roles of education, information, and entertainment. Politically, you have the pre- and post-independence contributions. That is, the contributions before independence, that's the pre-independence contributions, and then the contributions they made after independence. So you can look at the question from these two angles. Let's quickly look at the pre-independence contributions. The mass media contributed to the struggle for independence. They contributed in nationalist struggles. Most of the newspaper owners were nationalists who used their newspapers to enlighten the public on the need for independence. For example, Nnamdi Azikiwe and his chain of newspapers, West African Pilot, Nigerian Spokesman, Eastern Guardian, and Southern Nigeria Defender. They were all used by Nnamdi Azikiwe to promote the cause for independence, to raise people's consciousness towards the need for independence. You also had Ernest Ikoli, who used his African Messenger, that's his newspaper, to promote independence too. That was before he now worked as the first editor of Daily Times. Others are Duse Mohammed, Anthony Enahoro, John Payne Jackson, who was a Liberian, but he used his newspaper, Lagos Weekly Record, to promote independence, to even criticize the colonial government then over their harsh treatment of Nigerians. The mass media also promoted regional consciousness among Nigerians. This is in addition to promoting national unity. They made the regions understand the need to have a voice. They made the regions understand their position and role in the country called Nigeria. The mass media also played a role in political education. People were made to understand their role in elections and how to hold their leaders accountable. This happened even before independence. So the mass media played various roles in political development of the country. All you need to do is be brief on this point so that you can also include other points. The mass media also played part in educational development of Nigeria, even before independence. For instance, Iwe Iroyin, the first newspaper in Nigeria established by Reverend Henry Townsend in 1859, was basically aimed at raising the literacy level of Eba people. The mass media also carried educational content that enlightened the people. Culturally, the mass media were used to promote cultural heritage. They carried stories about festivals and such other local events. Many local language newspapers encouraged preservation of local languages and indigenous language education. A newspaper like Gaskia Tafe Kwabo, for instance, which was established by Northern Nigeria government in 1939, was the first local language newspaper in Africa. It used impressive Hausa language writing style, which was rich in spelling, grammar, and vocabulary. So people loved their language because they were local language newspapers that were informing them, educating them, and entertaining them. Still on culture, the mass media promote cultural values, norms of society, and give Nigerians sense of identity through various stories and articles on culture. They played this role before independence, they played it after independence, and they are still playing it till today. On religion, the mass media promoted religious institutions in the society by reporting stories about Christianity, Islam, and traditional African religion. Iwe Iroyin, for instance, carried stories about church activities, arrival and departure of church dignitaries. Many other media that were established afterwards also promoted religious diversity of the country. The mass media played this role before independence, they are still playing it till today. So you should know how to apply these answers while responding to this question during exam. In terms of their post-independence contributions, the mass media also contributed to the development of Nigeria after independence. This was when the broadcast media began to make contributions to the development of the nation after the first television station was established in 1959 by the Western Nigeria government, and that was Western Nigeria Television, WNTV. It was also the first in Africa. So what you do here is this. You use the same approach you used in explaining the contributions of the Nigerian mass media before independence to also explain their contributions after independence. Politically, the mass media promoted unity in diversity, and they still do so today. They give the numerous ethnic nationalities in Nigeria a voice through various newspapers, radio and television stations. They raise political consciousness and help in political education, especially making people aware of their role in election, whom to vote for, and why. The mass media still teach people how to hold their leaders accountable. They used to do it before independence, they still do it today. They promote democracy by playing their watchdog role effectively in the society. So while responding to this question, you use the same points you mentioned on culture, education, and religion to also refer to the contributions of the mass media after independence. This is because the media are still playing the same socio-cultural role, promoting religion, political and economic development functions through diverse, interesting, informative, educative, and entertainment contents today. They are promoting unity in diversity, peace, and entrepreneurship development. You can use modern examples of programs on radio and television or specific issues covered by newspapers and other media to buttress your point. Just keep your answer simple and straight to the point.